Welcome back. You got Will and I Man here from the Block Runner, MetaZone, and Rovi, and today we're going to be talking about the Phygital realm.
The Phygital mania, dude. It's coming.
Physical NFTs. Azuki's dropping this EIP standard for Ethereum for a new version of NFTs that link physical items to the NFT component of it.
Yeah, well, I guess it's not really a new concept, right? I guess bringing the physical realm to on-chain, have an on-chain presence, like we've seen that.
Yeah.
With things like what's it, VeChain? Remember Walton Chain? Walton
Chain, yeah, I remember
all
that.
those
2016,
these are
2017
juice right here.
Yeah.
Like whenever people were like, "Hey, what else is like the blockchain good for?" And then all of a sudden, these like supply chain companies came out. I was like, "Hey, we could use the blockchain to, I guess, streamline. I don't know, like product, like
just the authenticity of where the origins.
That's right.
Of all these products that they go through the supply chain, right? They verify that each part of the chain has been like, part of the taking note of the environment, making sure they have the right environmental procedures to make it sustainable, things like that.
Mm-hmm. But largely during this whole, realization, NFT was never part of that conversation.
No, it wasn't.
NFT was like barely taking off around the same time with things like, CryptoKitties and stuff, 2017, 2018. So
yeah, I
guess the two sectors never really merged, but here we are. Now we're getting phygital with it, I don't know who invented that word, but I mean, apparently this is a big enough, I guess, like market vertical that it deserves its own name, right? Its own nomenclature.
Yeah. And speaking of nomenclature, so Azuki is oh
damn, your mouse is busted, dude.
There we go.
There you go.
Azuki is coming up with a standard that links that physical item to that digital item, and the way that they do that is they append these I guess like these RFID chips that allow.
Yeah, I think they call them beans or something. It's on their blog post.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, I don't know if it's actually going to look like the little fingerprint scanner. I don't think you have it pulled up.
Okay, so let me go into.
But essentially, what you're looking at right there is it.
Yeah, I guess I don't have the blog post here. Okay, well, anyway.
Right there, dude. That little device behind the phone, that is the RFID. Well, not RFID.
It's like a representation of the chip.
Yeah, so we were talking like, what's the logistics of actually, is this like something just embedded within is it like exposed like a
well, typically you don't want to expose these things because you could just take it off and then all of a sudden
it's no good.
Yeah,
it's never being you mean like you can't have this as like a sticker, is what you're saying?
Well, you can, but I don't think you want it as a sticker. As a consumer, you don't want it as a sticker because you could just take the sticker off and then you've effectively unlinked the physical item with the digital.
Exactly. It's no longer phygital, right? So this little component here, this little bean with like that has a scanning ability, connected to this phone app that's connected to some, on-chain registering process. I guess the standard itself.
Yeah,
it's all dependent on this little bean sticker,
right?
Basically.
Right. Yeah.
Well, why would somebody do that then? That just devalues their whole asset. I mean, it could happen like by accident, right?
Right. It falling off or
falling off, but I would assume this like whole market vertical is for more like collectible type items again, like things that you more than likely would not like be, messing with too often.
Yeah, you don't want to devalue the physical item by messing with it. Yeah,
yeah, because when it comes to physical collectibles, I don't know if you guys ever got into that realm. Like the condition is a big thing. It's for
sure. Yeah,
that's a component that like the digital realm doesn't have to worry about.
Yeah. So I can think of a couple of use cases for something like this. Let's say you go to a museum and you wanted to verify who owns this particular art piece. You can scan it, and then that this famous person owns it or this institution owns it. And so Azuki is, man, I don't know why I don't have everything pulled up. Let me see if I can find where everything I had was. Nope, I lost everything. God damn it.
What are you looking for?
All the stuff that I had pulled up. I thought I had transferred everything over, but I guess not.
Okay, well.
But anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. So the whole thing was the the idea is once you make this link, what are the use cases that you can come up with? And so, I just outlined one. And so with Azuki, they're coming up with this EIP standard so that anyone can use this standardized smart contract to link physical items to the digital. Mm-hmm. And so, I was making the comment that essentially you could just create the smart contract that recognizes these transactions, because ultimately what this RFID chip ends up doing is some entity, like let's say Nike, right, or some brand, basically imbues a public and private key into this chip and assigns the fact that this is an authentic physical item from that brand, Nike, mm-hmm. or Louis Vuitton, whatever it is. But for sure that identifier could only come from Nike or any of these brands. Mm-hmm. And so when you go and purchase these things, all of a sudden by purchasing and scanning it, you physically, well, not only physically own it, but you digitally own it. Now your avatar, now you can kind of walk around, in the metaverse with that digital item.
Yeah. But I think it's not like the verification part that's really they're proposing to standardize. It's the act of, I guess, transferring things, or I guess minting upon like the scan itself.
Sure.
The act of a scan is like the actual event that either mints the NFT in the first place, or it assigns a new owner through whatever standardized process that's embedded in this smart contract.
Yeah, so, but there's a prerequisite that this chip itself has a public and private key, and the private key cannot be accessed. Obviously, that's the whole point. But the public key identifies that this mm-hmm. is an authentic item from the original brand. Yeah. And so, but yes, the transferring of that physical item is, here's the shoe, you scan it, I confirm it on my phone because it's an NFT, and then the NFT gets transferred to you.
So it's just like the process of ownership, which is what they're trying to ownership transferring and all that stuff, like the logistics of physical trading, right? That's what hasn't been standardized, because we've seen NFTs with physical counterparts before. Remember the Beeple drop? They dropped a digital art piece with a physical one,
right?
And there's I think they just sent it with like a little QR code scanner. So really, it feels like two separate,
two separate events. Yeah,
like they don't really interlink in any way, So Beeple, had a great idea. So he's probably one of the first ones to.
And he had several hardware assets to that NFT, right? He had his hair piece. Mm-hmm. He had I think a signature associated, documentation, and then the actual physical display.
The LCD display or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, so I think there's value in this proposition in the sense that if Azuki can, because they came out with these golden skateboards as a prototype, to leverage this technology, and so you can own this golden plated skateboard that has these little bean chips embedded in it, I guess, and it's transferable through their scanning technology, all this stuff, right? So they're prototyping, they're proving everything that they're proposing, and the point is, if they come up with a use case for it, they think, we have a brand now. They just raised $30 million for their Azuki IP.
Yep.
So they're about to start dishing out physical goods up the wazoo.
For sure, yeah. They're gonna be eating their own dog food.
Of course, yeah. If they're pioneering this whole tech layer for physical merchants, e-commerce platforms, whatever the hell whoever can leverage this, they envision a market need for this, right? So why not standardize it, make a proposal, see if it gets accepted. Anybody else who wants to kind of recreate this whole process, just leverage their tool.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I think you'd have to be a big brand in order for this to showcase its success.
Well, that's so in our world, big brand means like a blue chip PFP NFT.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're like a Bored Ape, you want to start distributing Phygital goods.
And Azuki is pretty much up there. They're top 15 or
top 10, top 15.
Yeah, something like that.
But in the NFT world, this is kind of like a new vertical that they can leverage, right? Because we've always talked about is PFP the only thing that the NFT industry is going to come out with? This is what NFTs are all about.
Ultimate NFT experience is PFPs.
The end game? No. Yeah. I mean, PFP mania, whatever other NFT schemes that come up for I guess, inspiring a community to like come and participate. That's how you build a brand, right? That's what we've seen so far. That's like the most revolutionary, I guess, breakthrough through NFTs is like brand IP generation.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see big brands, like traditional big brands, like the huge brands, Disney. It's, you know, they come up with a bunch of physical stuff, right?
Yeah,
they can easily take advantage of this EIP standard, right? Potentially, if it's become standard, they can leverage a smart contract and start, you know, selling their physical items, which a lot of them already have RFID chips. If you look at the a lot of their gaming consoles come with these little figurines that you can kind of like tap onto like the Nintendo Switch. Like that RFID communication could append this NFT aspect to it. And ultimately now their Switch could be like a bunch of games with NFTs assets associated with it as a result of this.
I think another like potential awesome like value prospect to what this is kind of like introducing to the world is augmented reality. And like once we start, because the whole concept of the metaverse and kind of like, you know, Meta's recent presentation kind of like flipped my whole interpretation or perspective on like, you know, the metaverse. At first I thought it was all digital. Yeah. You know, virtual worlds, VR headsets, all that shit. But actually it could encompass more physical stuff than what I initially thought. Yeah. And the only way to do that is by, you know, making AR a thing, like a mainstay potential in everybody's life. And then now things like digital identifiers in the physical world all of a sudden have like much greater application, right? Like, you know,
and you don't have to wear these glasses for AR. I mean, your phone can do AR.
True.
And so you could just scan a shoe and then see that shoe being animated as a result of this platform.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Or just like if you're like in I don't know, like you know how in the metaverse people like to spin up like galleries like crazy just to like, I don't know, it's just. So in the AR world, I could see people just spinning up galleries all over the place.
Physical galleries.
Well, not actual physical, right? Like, well, like, you know, implant like a digital gallery in a physical space. I don't know, like in a park or something like that. Yeah. Just create like a digital gallery experience where maybe you can only see it through your phone. But again, that's why the lens technology would be way better. Yeah. So if you're like actually in a park where there's nothing physically there, but you're actually in a gallery, like you would be in the metaverse, all these digital goods, I guess, can be...
Yeah, you can visualize. Like, because I thought where you were going is that you could go to a physical gallery and then you bring up your phone and then all these like art pieces could be animated.
Animated, or at least, like you said, identifiable. Like if you're in the metaverse, like spatial or on cyber, and you like walk up to some asset, you get to see who owns the asset, who created it. Like you could append all these like, you know, nice things. Sure. Because that's the cool thing about the metaverse, right? You could just do whatever you want. But in the physical world, it's a little harder, you know?
See, I feel like in the digital world, we have to have sort of like these, I don't know, I guess standards where when you're in this digital museum or digital gallery, you need to know for sure that what you're looking at are actual NFTs, not just an image. Yeah. Right? Because right now you can kind of drag and drop an image. You could just copy and paste a Bored Ape, put it into your gallery, and like you're missing the whole...
Do you think that adds to it? Like the...
Yeah, I think, imagine if you're in this gallery and you see a Bored Ape.
But like the most valuable one, like one that's worth for like $5 million.
Yeah, you see it. You know, you have to assume, you know for sure that that's the actual NFT representation of it. Yeah. Because when you click on it, it needs to link back to the owner.
Yeah, whoever owns that.
Because it could be just a fake NFT and it just links to just some random guy that's not even a real Bored Ape.
I mean, that clearly is the case for like physical art. Like if you walk into a museum, you expect like this has to be an original, right?
Well, it has to be. I mean, otherwise, why are you going to that museum?
Yeah, like there was like a thing on social media recently, like these girls like threw some tomato soup at a Van Gogh. Yeah. That was worth like $80 million or something like that. So somebody actually owned that, I guess, and had it on display at the museum. Yeah. Maybe the museum itself owned it, but yeah, just like that, blink of an eye, because some girls wanted to like send a message. They just ruined $80 million art piece. Well, but that's also part of the experience, right? Like you're in a museum with all this valuable stuff.
Yeah, you have to know for sure that that's like the authentic piece. Yeah. And so when I say standard is if, you know, these worlds, these gallery metaverses, when they're built, like you can only acknowledge NFTs, right?
Yeah.
Rather than just MP4s or images or.
Yeah, it won't have that. I don't know, because I don't know if anybody's curated like that kind of experience yet. I think there are like.
I don't think so.
There's something called the Museum of Crypto Art, and it has like a huge following, but I haven't actually like been. I don't even know if there's like a something in Decentraland or somewhere.
Is it a physical place or what?
No, I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like, but it sounds like the Museum of Crypto Art sounds like a place you could go to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it would be interesting just to kind of like go to a real.
Because imagine this museum. Imagine if you, as a Bored Ape holder, you delegate that Bored Ape to this museum, and they get to display your Bored Ape on your behalf. And what they do is just they try to get people to come to this museum.
Mm-hmm.
But when you go to that museum, you click on that art, and you know that it's like the real NFT, right? It links you back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's just I guess a side note in like this whole Phygital aspect of this.
I mean, the real thing I'm like looking forward to, because I could see this be like because NFTs, they usually, the markets take off to things that are like understandable.
Yeah.
There's going to be nothing more understandable than like the fact that like now digital stuff is now, I guess, like authenticated on the blockchain. Like this is something I think that masses will again gravitate to, just like PFPs.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, like Nintendo, Disney, Nike, all these guys, once they start selling this as a standard, people would expect this from other brands as a standard. Yeah,
and then like metaverse companies will start to, leverage this. Is like, oh, if you have your Phygital good, let's bring it to the metaverse. Let's mint this into digital twins.
Yeah, because ultimately every shoe, every like physical item exists digitally somewhere, right?
Yeah.
You'd have to design these digitally.
Yeah.
So why not have people access to that digital file so they can,
I would
use
very
it in
much,
the metaverse.
Absolutely. I would very much like to go to the store and like buy me a nice like Jordan sneaker. You know what I mean? And then I could bring it into Decentraland.
Yeah.
And that adds value to the sneaker I bought. I would take better care of that thing, and then I could just, I don't know, sell it to my homie down the street later on. Then he just scans his little beam chips. Brought to you by Azuki.
Yeah.
And then there's a whole ecosystem emerging here, dude.
Sure,
like a whole new.
That's a new flexing angle.
Market. Yeah, it's just more excitement in the commerce space. Period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I guess one of the big barriers, is still the fact that these things are physical. So there still has to be like a physical transfer process in order for like a market to emerge. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
I feel like
that's the hard part.
Yeah, I mean, there's huge brands created on the internet, right? We have a bunch of influencers, and they could take advantage of this stuff. But I feel like the big brands that exist could really leverage something like this.
Yeah, and they will. If it can be leveraged, it will be leveraged. Maybe not so much right now, just because the NFT space is a little like in a lull. The masses kind of aren't interested. They've been burnt pretty heavily.
Yeah, but we know PFPs is not the end all be all for NFTs, right? So
this is a potential.
This is another angle.
Yeah, that it could be very well marketed, very well.
Sure.
Yeah. And again, I could see some emerging new business opportunities too, like an eBay type service, or like the vaulting idea, like, because the best thing you could do with this is to have like physical goods, but still have like the liquidity access that like digital NFTs have. Meaning like if you could just lock up all this digital awesomeness in some sort of organization, allow the free transfer of these NFTs between speculators, I guess.
Yeah.
Have like an actual market environment.
Yeah,
and if you were to claim it whenever you want.
Exactly. As I was gonna say, is as soon as you buy that NFT from this auction house or whatever, you could claim that physical item, get that physical item sent to you, and then
as opposed to every time you want to trade, it's like, all right, dude, let me fucking package this thing up and send it out. Oh,
and then you have to trust.
Dude,
you have to trust the user to actually send it.
Yeah,
and not get scammed.
Yeah, so there's a huge opportunity here, OpenSea-esque. If this market becomes big enough.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't Jake Paul or one of those guys scammed with a bunch of Pokemon fake cards or something like that?
I'm pretty sure, dude. Yeah, that was during the whole Pokemon Mania.
Like he bought a huge box, and it was like, other cards or whatever it was.
Of course, it's just like a wrapped box. Like you have no idea what's in it.
Exactly.
Yeah, if it would have had one of these bean chips.
Yep.
And you could have traced like the whole, I guess, ownership pathway up until the point it got to your hands. It's like, all right, now I know this thing is authentic.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. Well, that's our explanation of the Azuki PFP. I would say, well, I guess Azuki is a PFP project.
Yeah, and the spinning off into, I guess,
the physical digital realm. Yeah.
Well, just the idea of a PFP project, like building like a technical value add, like that's cool to see.
Yeah, for sure.
It's better than like, I don't know, a PFP project just making, music videos. Like that's kind of lame in my opinion. But
yeah.
Apparently there's this thing called storytelling NFT, so maybe it's not as lame as I think. So
yeah.
Well, we'll get into that in another video.
For sure. All right, that's it for us. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're almost at 10K. And follow us on Twitter at The Blockrunner, at Metazone.io, and at Rovi AI. And we'll catch you in the next video.
Peace.